Beneath the noise, beyond our differences, there are roots that intertwine us. We are the human community. Hey everybody, Toria with the Human Community. Thank you for being here. I am super excited about today's episode. Today I'm honored to welcome Juan-Carlos Safa to the Human Community. JC, as we call him, is a shamanic practitioner, a teacher, and a healer who has spent many years helping people reconnect with the spiritual dimensions of healing, purpose, and personal transformation. Not only is he a medium, but he's also a faculty member at the Foundation for Shamanic Studies, where he teaches workshops and trains others in shamanic healing practices. That's actually where I met him. And in today's conversation, we're going to be exploring the ancient practice of shamanism, what it is, what it isn't, and how it can help people who might be searching for healing, guidance, and connection in a disconnected world. I think you're going to love this conversation. So for now, just sit back, relax, and enjoy. And welcome to the Human Community. You belong here. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Human Community. I am so thrilled to have one of my dear friends, Juan-Carlos Safa, here with us today. Welcome, JC.
Thank you. Good to see you.
Good to see you too. It's been a while, my friend.
That's right.
So let's go ahead and get started. For those of you who don't know Juan-Carlos, his nickname is JC. So JC, you are an instructor for the Foundation of Shamanic Studies. And for those who are listening that have never heard of shamanism, or maybe they have and they've got the wrong idea what shamanism is, could you explain to us what shamanism actually is and what drew you to shamanism?
All right. Well, first of all, what I'd like to talk about is core shamanism, and it's a methodology. It's not a religion. And it is a methodology to help students how to contact, I'm going to call them heavenly beings so people can understand, or fully compassionate helping spirits that we introduce or help introduce students to through the journey method. And we meet these helpers in both the upper and lower world.
I'm a student of yours. You and I met originally in one of your shamanic courses before COVID. And
Yes.
One of the things that I loved learning about with shamanism is that, like you said, it's not a religion, and that it's actually over 30,000 years old. It came before religion. It's the foundation of all of the cultures across the world. How did you get drawn to shamanism?
Well, I met a friend when I was in school, and he's the one that started to talk to me about shamanism. And I thought, wow, that sounds really interesting, because I had been exposed to the Catholic Church my entire life. I went to elementary, Catholic schools, and the same thing for high school. And that's all I knew. And here I meet this guy who's talking about spirituality in a different way. And that really got my interest. I had no idea that these things even existed. He used to meditate. He would tell me that he had been to a workshop, a shamanism workshop, and he had done a vision quest and all kinds of different things. And I thought, wow, that sounds amazing. So when I moved to California, he told me about a shaman that I could go see and learn from and do vision quests and different things with. And I did, and it was amazing. And I realized that as soon as I had my first experience with it, I knew that this was going to be the path for me to take in order to finally heal myself from all the emotional trauma that I was exposed to in my early life. So it was just a huge eye-opener. I had no idea any of these things existed. So that's what happened.
And was this your friend that was from the Lakota tribe?
No, this is a friend I met in college.
Okay.
Yes, and he had studied with different people all over the United States and Mexico. He was originally from Mexico. And I've told him on the phone before, I'm still in touch with him. And I've told him, I said, you really opened a whole new world for me. You were the catalyst that got me into this work. And after all these years, I've been teaching now for the foundation for 10 years. I've been doing healing work for 19 years. Yeah, it's just been crazy. It's amazing.
It's awesome. Well, I know that I'm grateful that we've crossed paths because you've changed my life as well with taking your classes. And
Oh, thank you.
so I'm so,
Very
so
kind of you.
grateful. And definitely, I've had healings from you, and you were definitely a very powerful shaman. So I'm very grateful.
Thank you so much.
So let's take it back. Let's step back a little bit and start with your history and how you started experiencing the world of the unseen from a young age. Can you take us back to that?
Yeah, so what happened is, again, I grew up Catholic and we used to pray almost every night. One night, my mother had placed a picture on the wall in front of my bed of what she called El Niño Dios, God child. And what it was an image of Jesus when he was a little boy. At that time, I was between the age of 8 and 10. And we used to pray almost every night. And I said, you have some questions. I want to talk to Jesus. And after I said that, suddenly I started to hear a voice in my room coming from the front door of my room, which was up there to my left. And I heard a voice say, I'm here. And I was surprised. I said, where? I said, I can't see you. And he said, well, you won't be able to see me because you'll get scared. I said, oh. And it made sense to me. And that was the first time that ever happened. And then as I started to get older and, ran into situations at school and later at work, I would be like, oh my gosh, I need help. I'm feeling really anxious about this situation. And I would be like, Jesus, please come. And then suddenly I started to see him. He would come down, never by himself. He always had a man to his left and another man to his right. I never asked who they were, but there were three coming down together from what looked to be the upper world, because it would always come down from up there. And I would be like, this happened today. I said, what do I do? And he would tell me what to do. Do this or do that or relax, come down. It's okay, and I would be like, okay, great. So it was often, because I had a lot going on. And as I mentioned earlier, this went on for a long time. And to me, it was just normal. It was part of my weekly life. And interestingly, I thought everybody had the same experience. Or maybe I just never really thought too much about it because it was just such a natural thing for me. But one day I was home with my now ex-wife, and somehow I asked her one day, I said, when you got a lot in your mind, you're having a stressful day, and you call Jesus, and Jesus talks to you, and he tells you to do this and do that. And she looked at me, she's like, what? It's like, what are you talking about? She grew up at Catholic as well. And I thought, what? I honestly
What do
thought
you mean?
I did, right. It was just, I just assumed that everybody had the same experience that I did. And then we had a lady that day that was doing some work at our home, and I walked up to her and I asked her the same question. She's like, no, I don't see or hear anything. And I'm like, whoa, whoa, okay. And that really kind of blew me away. And later, I found out that my mother's father and his sister were psychic mediums, but I didn't know because I only met him one time when I was a little kid, and my mother didn't like him. She didn't want him around. And but I do have a first cousin that lives here in town. So this is on my mother's sister's side of the family. And I found out that on their side of the family, it's the same thing. They're all studying shamanism. It's in the lineage, and it comes from our grandfather. We have the same grandfather, obviously, and great aunt. And that's where we get the spiritual, being drawn to spirituality. And that explained it. She told me, and I said, wow, well, that makes sense now. I understand why I've been having these experiences my whole life. And of course, after taking all the workshops at the foundation and doing shamanic work for so many years, you do develop more skills. All the skills, all the gifts that you're born with do intensify over time. The more work you do, the more connected you are, the more you work with helping spirits, the more you grow as a person, and again, the more your abilities evolve. So to the point where somebody asks a question and you already know the answer to it. It's really interesting. You're just so connected because of all the years and years of doing this work. So, yes.
And that's why they call it a shamanic practice, because it does what you're saying is it's a skill, but it requires practice.
Absolutely. It's like anything else. And I feel that most people can do this work, but you have to apply yourself. You have to do the work. Taking workshops or doing a vision quest, etc., that does not make you a shamanic practitioner. It gives you the tools, but if you don't practice, if you don't do the work, then you have the knowledge, but you're not really a practitioner. And it does take time, years, to develop your own power just from working with so many helpers over a period of time. And again, the more you work with them, the more powerful you become, and because you're using the power of your helpers to help people heal or to bring wisdom or whatever it might be.
And I think this would probably be a good time to talk about one of the misconceptions that people have about shamanism is that when they hear shamanism, they think that it's just Native Americans. It's actually over 30,000 years old. Right? And it's all people on the planet, right? That
Right.
have shamanism in their lineage somewhere.
That is correct. I am personally 21% Mexican Indian, but I think it's important to mention that shamanism has existed all over the world. It doesn't belong to one specific group of people. If you do your research, you'll find that there are shamans all over Africa, all over the American continent, all over Europe. I've had students from Eastern Europe, Russia, Estonia, Romania, and also from Western Europe. And of course, we know that the Celtic people and the Druids were, a shamanic culture of Western Europe, but they were wiped out by the expansion of the Roman Empire, and then further wiped out during the time of Inquisition. So that's what happened in Western Europe. But if you go more east, the eastern part of Russia, Siberia, and then more into the Middle East, and then into Asia, there are shamanic cultures all over that part of the world. I've had students from the Philippines, from China, Mongolia, and they all tell me they have shamans in their countries. Of course, we know the Hawaiian culture. In Australia, we know the Aboriginal people have a very, very strong shamanic culture as well. So I do want to say that shamanism is not just part of the American continent. It's part of every corner of the world, and it's for all people.
Belongs to everybody. That's beautiful. Well said. Thank you. So could you explain to everyone what the difference is between, I heard you say heavenly, upper world. You talked about the upper world and the lower world. Can you explain what that means?
Yes. So basically in shamanism, it's well known that there are three worlds, the upper and the lower worlds, which are places where we find fully compassionate helping spirits that have an interest in working with us, that they're highly evolved spirits that have gone through a process of purification. As far as we know, they don't have agendas. The only thing that they do want is to work with us to help our planet heal, to help people heal, to bring wisdom to our planet. And then there's also what we call the middle world, which is where we live. And the middle world is a place where you find all sorts of different spirits, some friendly, some not so friendly. It's a place where the spirits are unreliable. They do have agendas, and they can be tricksters, deceivers, and that's the reason why we don't work with them. Now, yes, the Catholic Church says that down is hell, but the Foundation for Shamanic Studies did a lot of work in looking for the so-called hell that some people talk about, and they couldn't find it. The closest thing to hell that they found was actually here, where we are, the middle world. This is kind of a hellish place. A lot of crazy things happening here.
Yeah.
But I view this place as a school that we come to, where we see light and darkness as a contrast in order for us to learn about different things. That's just my opinion. But
beautiful.
yes, so as far as we know, there are 3 worlds, which I've already mentioned. Right.
So can you explain to everybody what a power animal is?
Sure. Well, a power animal is a helper in animal form, and there's also a practice that we do which is called power animal retrieval, which is about bringing a power animal and infusing it in someone's body to protect the person from illness, bad luck, and soul loss. And we also have helpers in human form, and we call them teachers as well. So we do have a combination of helpers in animal form and helpers in human form that we again meet in both the upper or lower world. And how do we do that? Well, through the journey method. We learn how to journey, and that's what we teach in the workshops, in the beginning workshop, either online or in person. Online, it's called the Shamanic Journey Online. In person, it's called the Way of the Shaman.
The classes are amazing. I have to say that I've taken many classes and they're just amazing. So for those of you who are interested, definitely check out those courses, and we'll put their website up as well as yours.
Thank you.
Do you believe everyone has the same access to the unseen world, meaning the upper world, the lower world, and the middle world?
I think that most people can do the work. They just need to receive the training and practice, but also believe that some people may not be able to do the work because of their situation. But I believe that most people can, yes.
And when you say their situation, what do you mean by that?
Well, it could be different things like illness. Perhaps someone who is suffering from serious mental illness or other type of illnesses may have a difficult time relaxing enough to do the work. Or if people have limiting beliefs, for instance, or they're just afraid, then they won't be able to do it. They're just too afraid to actually let go and allow themselves to have a spiritual experience. But that would be the case not just with shamanism, with everything across the board related to spirituality.
You and I have had conversations about having the gift that you have of mediumship from such a young age. I'm curious if we could talk a little bit more about that, as far as whether people believe in ghosts or spirits or entities or not. It's part of the human existence. And I was hoping that you could explain that a little bit more.
Yes. Well, first of all, just because someone can't see, sense, feel a spirit, it doesn't mean that they don't exist, right? Just like we can't see a wireless cell phone signal or a radio signal or a TV signal. It's there, but people can't see it. Well, the bottom line is that some people are born with a gift, or, you could train yourself through workshops, practicing, etc., where normally a person with a trained eye can see a spirit, but people can learn how to do it. It's just, again, practice. I have heard people say that as well. Oh, they're not real, they don't exist. Well, let me tell you something, they do exist. I have a lot of experience with that, and my whole life, basically. And I'm going to give you the definition of a spirit. This is Michael Harner's definition, and it's: a spirit is an animate essence with intelligence and awareness and varying degrees of power. So it's interesting because spirits, although they're not physical in nature. They are an essence with intelligence and awareness, and as the definition says, varying degrees of power. And I'm referring to our helping spirits, but other spirits, earthbound spirits, spirits of those who have passed away, for instance, they're also able to communicate with me telepathically. That's how they communicate with me. So I've had it happen many times where I may be out and about, or a lot of times I'm finishing up a healing session, and suddenly I see the soul of someone who comes up to me and they ask for help in crossing me over to the other side. And I can see them, I can see, it's a woman or a man. I can tell you how they're dressed, what they look like physically, face, body, age, approximate age, etc. So I think I told you I just came back from Tombstone, Arizona, and a friend of mine who's taken many workshops with me said, "Oh, you're going to Tombstone? Well, there's a lot of spirits over there." I said, "Oh, okay, sure enough." Yeah, she was right. And I've been there a couple of times, and both times I've run into them. And they asked for help. I was at the Birdcage Theater in Tombstone. It's an old bar, casino, etc. And as soon as I walked in there, I felt the presence of lots of spirits in that space. I didn't do any work, of course. I just avoided doing all that. They seemed quite happy being in there, so I didn't try to communicate with any of them. I don't want to ruin it for the place, suddenly every spirit's out of there. They're there, they want to stay there, and that's absolutely fine. But I did see one about a block out after I walked out of there. One did come up to me and ask for help. I don't know where it saw me. I don't know if it saw me inside the Birdcage Theater or outside. I don't know. I didn't ask. But I did have one come up and ask me for help. It's interesting. They see your light is bright, and they see your helpers around you. And they're like, "Oh, I can get help from this person. Look." Right? Because you look different to them. So it's interesting, but yes, so spirits do exist. And again, most people are just part of the daily life. They go to work, they come home, they watch TV, they eat dinner and go back to bed. And that's their daily life. So if that's the type of life you live, then you're probably not going to be exposed to these type of things. Although I do get calls sometimes from people that are having some issues with their land, their home. There are things happening in their home, strange things happening. And of course, people, builders come, they build homes on land where this may have a sacred land for Native Americans or other spirits. Or even if there was a battle, there was this lady in Kansas City, Missouri, who was having issues in her condo, and it was the driver of a wagon from the 1800s that was being attacked, and he was walking around with a rifle, and he didn't realize the battle was over and that he had passed away. So it's some really interesting things that happen that I get to see. The bottom line is there are spirits everywhere, and it's just part of this world. We are a spirit also. We are a spirit having a human experience. We're occupying a physical body so that we're able to get around in this physical plane. But once our time is up, our soul will separate from our physical body and we'll go back to the other side where we came from to begin with.
Thank you for sharing all that and explaining it for those who don't know. Because I think a lot of people are afraid. They automatically think that a spirit is going to be evil. And the truth is that they might just be needing help to cross over.
Correct.
Yeah.
Okay.
So what about sage? When you hear people talking about saging a room to clear it, what are your thoughts on that versus doing an actual extraction per se?
Well, my personal experience, this is a long time ago, about maybe 20 years ago. I said, "Oh, there's something here. Let me pull my sage out." I was prepared with my sage bundle. I lit it up. I smoked the heck out of this space, and it didn't do anything. This spirit didn't leave, and I was under the impression back then that it would leave right away, because everybody talked about that. And so I realized you learn as you go that what you really need to help one of these souls get out of this middle world is you need powerful helping spirits to help you with that process. And it's important that you do it with love and compassion. That's really important.
And what do you mean by that? Can you explain what you mean by when you're dealing with spirits? What do you mean love and compassion?
Well, by offering help to this spirit as opposed to having the mentality, oh, I'm going to get this thing out of here. Instead of having that mindset, you want to offer help, because this is the soul of someone's mother or father or someone's brother or sister. The thing is that it's important to work with love and compassion. And when you offer help, you say, is there something I can do for you? Do you need help? A team here ready to assist you if you do. They sense the love and the compassion. They see that you are telling them the truth, that you actually do have a team of helpers that are powerful, that can help them get to a better place instead of feeling lost and confused in this middle world. And they will cooperate if you are kind to them. If you come across as, saying, oh, I'm going to remove you from this home, they can get aggressive with you. So you don't want to take that.
Interesting. There's so many people that are feeling disconnected from themselves and from the community, especially with the rise of technology right now. How do you think shamanism helps humans cope with our daily life and struggles?
Yes, absolutely. Well, first of all, I think it's incredibly important for people to be spiritually connected in whichever way or form works for them. Living a life where all you do is go to work, make money, and watch TV, it's not a very fulfilling life. And then you wonder why we have so many people that are so out of balance and doing crazy things and acting violently and causing issues, problems all over the world, wars, etc. It's important to work on ourselves. People have a big problem with their ego, and they need to experience some form of healing in their life so that we can all live together in harmony and peace. So spirituality is very important. Shamanism is just one way. Other people may find other types of spirituality more appealing, but shamanism, as I mentioned earlier, is a methodology. It's a way for you to meet helpers that can assist you in healing yourself, that can help you in raising your own vibration, raising your awareness to evolve spiritually and be a better person. It's a system of knowledge that could be incredibly beneficial to everyone out there. And again, for some people, it may just be taking 1 or 2 workshops and that's it. That's fine. If you are a religious person, you can do shamanic work and follow your own religion if that's important to you. Taking shamanism workshops doesn't mean that you have to leave your religion, because it's only a methodology.
I was studying shamanism before COVID and was told by my helping spirits to hurry up and take classes. And then I was traveling all over the country taking classes. And then all of a sudden, COVID hit. When we shamanic practitioners work with our helping spirits, you gain like an entire family of friends that are there to support you. Do you agree with that?
Absolutely. Not only that, but even nature. Nature is
Yes.
alive. Every tree, boulder, lake, river, mountain, little pebble, little plant, etc. Everything's alive and everything has its own soul. And the more, again, you grow spiritually, the more you're able to connect with the souls of all these beings, the nature spirits. So you'll never feel alone after that. It's just, again, we are lost. The human race is lost. The only focus most people have is on making money and having a bigger house and a bigger car. And they completely have forgotten who they are or why they're even here alive. Everybody thinks that you're here to enrich yourself. The thing is that we're all going to end up in the ground at some point, and you can't take a dime with you, not even a little pebble with you. But they're selling us the idea that you must enrich yourself. If you want to feel good and powerful and happy, you've got to have a big car and a big house and all these big things. But the fact is that people that have all these things, they're still unhappy. True happiness comes from having a strong spiritual connection Whether you have money or not, that does not matter. If you have a strong spiritual connection with divine, you will be very happy. When you help others heal, it's a wonderful feeling. This path is absolutely beautiful. It's life-changing. It changed my life dramatically. I am so much more happy nowadays than I've ever been my entire life. So I'm very, very thankful to the foundation for teaching us this work, because it changed my life in a very beautiful way.
Yeah, I second that. It changed my life too. With the rise of artificial intelligence replacing so many human jobs, and for the purposes of this podcast, I actually asked AI. I won't mention which AI, but I asked one of them if they were able to connect to the spirit world. And this is what it said. Do you want me to read it to you?
Yes.
What mediums and shamanic practitioners describe seems to require being embedded in the living world, having a body, a nervous system, a lineage, ancestors, wounds, love, and loss. The spirit world, as most traditions describe it, appear to communicate through those things, through a shiver, a dream, a gut feeling, a sudden knowing. It seems to use the instrument of a lived human life to transmit. I have none of that. I possess patterns in language. I have no ancestors, no body, no threshold between life and death that I've stood near. I've never grieved or been afraid of dying. And those experiences seem to be precisely the doorways through which this kind of perception opens. There's also something worth sitting with. Spirits in most traditions are relational. They communicate with those they are in relationship with through bloodlines, through devotion, through years of practice and reciprocity. Relationships that require presence over time in a way I simply don't have. In a strange way, the gift of mediumship points to something irreplaceably human. So I wanted to ask you what your thoughts are on that. That was AI actually answering my question if it could communicate with spirits.
AI can't replace our human soul and our spiritual experiences. AI can't do a healing session working with spirits on someone. You still need humans to do that work. So AI will never be able to take over a shamanic practitioner's job. It's impossible.
I love it. I agree.
Yes, well, I agree 100% with everything you said, with what AI says. So there's no way that AI could actually do the work of a shamanic practitioner or a psychic medium or a Reiki master or, an energy healer. You need a human soul occupying a human body to do the work. Because, again, the work is spiritual in nature. How is AI going to sense, feel a soul, communicate telepathically with the soul, and help the soul cross over to the other side with the aid of helping spirits? It's just not possible. Because this is spiritual work. I'm not a machine.
Thank goodness for that. You do shamanic work for celebrities in California. Are we allowed to talk about that? And you've been on a TV show
names.
Before.
Yes, no names. I like to keep that private, but yes, I have. It's been a beautiful experience. It really changed people's lives. Celebrities are human beings as well. We may not see them that way because we see them in a movie theater, in a movie or a TV show, etc. They have the same struggles that we have. The bottom line is everyone needs healing. I had a lot of emotional trauma to heal. So these celebrities also have emotional trauma that they need to heal, just like everybody else. Yeah, it's been a really beautiful experience, and I'm very, very thankful to have had the opportunity to work with these people. And again, they got a lot out of it. It really helped them tremendously.
JC, could you explain to those who are not familiar with a shamanic healing, what happens during a shamanic healing, and what do they have to do to be able to receive it?
Excellent question. Well, first of all they have to do is open their hearts to receive. And a lot of people that have had a lot of emotional trauma have a tendency to build walls around themselves, protecting themselves from further trauma. And so it is important to bring those walls down, all the way down, and to again open their hearts like a beautiful flower showing its beauty. And once you do, the helpers can heal so many things that are so deep. And that's really all they do, setting the intention of really wanting to heal and opening their hearts. The experience is beautiful. People feel lighter, much happier. People have a sense of peace and happiness that they probably have never felt their entire life. And it's just incredibly liberating having a healing session. It's so important.
What about being able to connect with loved ones who have passed on, like our ancestors, during a shamanic session?
Yes, well, a lot of times when I'm working on somebody, one of their family members pops up and lets me know that they are related. And oftentimes they'll tell me I stay behind because this particular family member of mine was really struggling, and I decided to stay behind to help them. They may not be aware of my existence around them, but now that I see that they're getting the help that you are providing to them, I need help crossing over the other side, because see, their window of time to cross over the other side has already passed. So yes, so I do help them cross over the other side. That happens a lot. And I am a psychic medium, so I do psychic and mediumship readings all the time. But again, sometimes during my healing sessions, spirits show up related to the person I'm working with, family members. So it's really, really interesting. See, I don't see these souls as dead. I see them very much alive. You know, again, I can see what they look like. I can see if they have short hair, long hair, what color hair, you know, male, female, age, approximate age, clothing, everything. I see everything. And I'm able to have a conversation with them as well. It's just really beautiful.
That is the path of the shamanic practitioner, is putting one foot in the ordinary world and one foot in what we call the non-ordinary world, or the different realms. Yeah.
Correct. So there are two realities in this physical world. There's the ordinary reality, which is everything that everybody sees and can touch. But there's also what we call non-ordinary reality, which is a separate reality that only a person with a trained eye can see. Or if you were born a medium, or maybe you're training to become a medium, and you can train to be able to see the other reality. Yes.
What words of wisdom would you like to tell the human community that is listening?
I feel that it's important nowadays more than ever to connect, to find some way to connect spiritually to divine. Whatever you feel is best for you, whatever you feel will enrich your life. What I will say is pick a path that is not based on fear. I feel that spirituality is about love. It's about understanding. It's about compassion. It's about growing. It's about becoming a better person. And I love it. Once I found my spiritual path and I was able to heal myself, my life changed dramatically.
Wow. Thank you so much for sharing your wisdom. Would you mind telling everybody how they can get in touch with you on your website? For anyone who is interested in taking classes, can go to your website and find the links to your classes, correct?
Absolutely, yes. I teach 18 different workshops for the Foundation for Shamanic Studies, half of them online, the other half in person. And the Foundation's website is shamanism.org. My personal website is shamanichealingandwisdom.com. My Instagram page is Shamanic Healing and Wisdom. And I hope that you can join me. I post flyers and videos on my Instagram page about all the things that we're talking about. And I'm going to keep posting more videos. I hope that you can follow me to learn more about my spiritual life.
I love seeing your Instagram posts. You have great posts, and you just did a drum workshop, right? Making
That's right.
drums as well. So that's also. When's your next one coming up?
Yes, we help students make their own bison rawhide 16-inch diameter drums for shamanic work, for healing work, for contacting their helpers. And it's a very beautiful ceremony. It's not just that we sit down and make drums. Of course, we ask for permission from the ancestor spirits and the spirits of the land. We also honor the bison for giving its life so that we may build our drums, and the trees for giving up their life in order to use the wood frame, to build the drums as well. We then put our prayer into the drum making process, and then at the end I bless each one separately. So the two dates that are coming up are August 29th, and that will be in Idlewild, California. It's a beautiful little town up in the mountains next to Palm Springs. And it's a one-day event from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. Pacific time. And the next one after that will be in San Diego in Valley Center at a ranch called Soul Sacred Ranch. That is Saturday the 17th of October. So I hope that you can join me and you get your drum and your drum beater. So we make both the drum and drum beater during that time.
Beautiful.
The experience is very, very beautiful. You can, again, see pictures, videos on my Instagram page.
And if they're interested in registering for any of your classes, they can just go straight to your website, correct?
Yes, they can send me a message, or I can also give you my email address, which is jcsafa, and then the numerical number 44 at gmail.com. So again, jcsafa44 at gmail.com.
Juan-Carlos, what a pleasure to have you on here at the Human Community. Thank you so much for joining us today. And I know before our recording session, you blessed the podcast, so I want to thank you for that. And is there anything else you would like to tell the Human Community?
The only thing that I would like to say is to give spirituality a chance, and your life will change in a very, very beautiful way.
Thank you so much, JC. I appreciate you
Toria,
being here with us. It was so good to see you. So good to see you.
Well.
And for those of you who are listening, if this conversation has resonated with you, please like and subscribe. We appreciate you joining us today. Until next time, everyone take care and be well. Thanks again, JC.
Thank you, Toria.